It's about to go down.
Burning your ears with another all-killer and no-filler episode of the best motorsports radio on the planet. It's the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. With your host, Jim Beaver.
Sliding trophy trucks, jumping razors, and dropping the mic at events across the country.
Amy Hood.
What's up, guys? I'm a professional fun haver, dirt bike rider, and monster truck driver.
With support from Polaris RZR, General Tire, Subaru, and Dirtfish. Hang on tight, strap in, and get ready to smoke some tires and lay some roost. Here's the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other. Jim Beaver.
Well, good morning and welcome to another episode of the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver joined here by Amy Hood, kicking off what is going to be one heck of a fun show today, all about Crandon. That is right. The biggest off-road short course race in the world is on tap this weekend, and guess what? I'm headed that way. So this weekend I'll be doing a little announcing there at Crandon from the tower, as well as doing some radio interviews for them, and we're going to have some winners on air next week. But this week we've got some of the drivers on air. We got Keegan Kincaid, multi-generation driver. He's from there. He's the hometown kid there in Crandon. He's going to call in, tell us all about it. And then we've got my good friend Marty Fiolka, who runs media and marketing for Crandon International Raceway. He's going to be on to talk about Crandon. We got some Joe Duncan mixed in, and then a good friend of mine and Amy's, Ryan Beat. He's calling in hour number 2. So it's been a while since we've caught up with both Keegan and Ryan Beat, Hood. I think that's it's going to be a bit fun. I know you and Ryan are good buddies. I don't know. It's going to be fun to have him heading out to Wisconsin. I think this is the first time he's going to Crandon, so that should be exciting.
Yeah, he's always a good character, and now he has a little baby girl, but I call him Princess Ryan, and maybe we can talk about that later.
Princess Ryan, I dig it. Well, sounds like there's another princess in the house, though, so I don't know.
I know.
Oh, this is going to be fun. But, Ryan Beat on air, Keegan Kincaid. We've got Marty Fiolka with Crandon. Joe Duncan's doing Joe Duncan's thing in hour number 2. We're only like a week and a half away from heyday, so we're going to start talking about that, too. Lots of stuff coming at you. Maybe throw in some IndyCar, some motocross, and some Travis Pastrana and ARA Rally. So that's all coming at you here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com. Looking to have some fun on 4 wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. Just rolling right into things here on your favorite motorsports radio show. Big favor to ask you guys before we get into things, though. Every once in a while, I need a favor. Obviously, always asking you guys to go over to iTunes, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. We're also a radio show, and my other one, Project Action. But if you go over to Podcast One, one of the places that carries this radio show, as well as Project Action, they've got a survey going on, and basically it's an anonymous survey. Only takes a couple of minutes, but if you guys could go over there to Podcast One, it's right there on the front page, says survey. Fill that out, kind of lets us know who's actually listening to the show. It helps us with advertising sales and whatnot. But anyways, if you guys could go and do that, make sure and check the box for Project Action as well as Down and Dirty Show. It would be much appreciated by me because it helps us out in the end. But it just takes a couple minutes, and I promise you don't even ask for an email address, so you're not going to start getting spam or anything like that. So I can promise. I hate email spam. It's crap. It ruins email accounts. So speaking of fun stuff, I don't know if you guys checked it out, but my good friends over there at Car Throttle from the UK, they just dropped, they had a film crew. I know last week we got cut off on the radio. Had a power surge here locally where the studio's at, and 7 minutes in, just whack, we got whacked off the air. And so Amy and I kind of threw together a podcast with a couple of the guests we had on tap last week. So go and listen to that. But I didn't get to talk about Vegas to Reno too much. But my friends at Car Throttle, they came over from the UK with a film crew and followed Travis Pastrana, Jolene Van Vute, and I around the Nevada desert for 3 or 4 days. And they dropped their YouTube video. It's already got, I think, well over 100,000 views on YouTube. So make sure and go over that. It's posted on Pastrana's Facebook, mine, Polaris's, so you can go and check it out. But we had tons of fun. It's about 13 minutes long. They went pretty in-depth, but it kind of tells the story of the whole thing. So instead of me telling you about it here on the radio, you guys can go and watch it on YouTube. So it's Car Throttle's their channel. It's also all over my social media and stuff like that. And we've also got another full-length video coming out from Mad Media sometime in the next week or two. So be looking for that one as well. But Crandon show on tap today. We got a lot of that to come, but I do want to mention, I mentioned it in the first segment, I'm heading out to Wisconsin to Crandon. I don't even know what I'm going to do here, Amy. So 2 weekends in a row. I got Crandon this weekend, which is just basically a huge party in Wisconsin. And, you know, it's like the biggest off-road race in the country. Like 60, 70,000 people go and camp out, and they party and everything else, right? So that's this weekend. Then next weekend I go to Heydays, which is the biggest snowmobile event in the world. And that's just a party with 50 or 60,000 people in Minnesota. So I don't know, Hood. This could be very bad.
Yeah, I think you're really going to have to stock up on your NoHo hangover and, water bottles, Tylenol, some Advil. But, you're in store for a couple heavy hitter weekends, that's for sure. I mean, again, like you said, you have two of the biggest, events in their own disciplines. Heydays is, the mecca of mecca snowmobile events with every type of racing, every type of vendor, swap meet, party, and Santa Cross. But I've never been to Crandon, but I've heard nothing but good times and lots of lots of good times. So yeah, I'm a little jealous. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you're actually the working one. Like you're like Miss. Oh, I got to go back to work, right? You're being responsible here. Amy Hood, the responsible one. This is you're adulting. You are adulting.
Well, I don't really think driving a monster truck is like the 100% adulting level. Like I think I have that dream job where I could like half adult and half be a kid. So I don't mind going to work. I would go to work every single day for the rest of my life if it means I get to get behind the wheel of a monster jam truck.
Yeah. Well, what you and I have is what I like to call no jobs, where it's a job, but it's not really a job,
well,
and we get paid to do it, and we work hard, but we have fun.
I care to disagree a little bit because I just am obviously always been biased because dirt bikes and it's the gnarliest sport in the world. But we're going to talk about this next segment. But, my job is to be a professional athlete. And I actually had this, coming of age epiphany. And I actually had this conversation with my roommate yesterday. But, I have been really putting in the work. I have been busting my butt at the gym day in and day out, for the last couple months here, and it really pays off. And, that's my job, is to be in the top physical condition that I can be in to perform. And, Jim, I'm slaying it.
Yeah, you are. Like I'm excited to see round 2 of you and Monster Jam. Obviously, I think the first year you were kind of figuring everything out. It takes a while.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see, this next tour you go on. How things shape up, because I think everybody else is in for a big surprise, and because I think Amy Hood's been putting in the homework over the off season, so should be pretty fun. But I got to ask, we were talking about heydays. Am I finally going to meet the infamous Kim Hood at heydays?
Yes, you will. Sweet. You get to meet my dad, the man, the legend that is Kim Hood. He's going to be going down there helping set up for FXR. I don't know if he's staying all weekend. I know he likes to get back home and do his own racing himself. He's not much of a spectator, I'll be honest, but he'll be there. So I'll make sure you guys link up, and I'd love to be there. We talk every time that, I'm going to heydays. Well, Monster Jam gave me the call. I got to go back down and test and train. So my schedule is just like the craziest thing ever. I'm just kind of out and about, and I'm all over. I need like 30 more, hours in my days to get it all done.
Yeah, it's you and me both. It's kind of crazy. I'm looking at my schedule like the next month or two, and it's like even when I'm at home, I'm busy, and I don't know. It's kind of nuts. Yeah. But speaking of nuts, I know we had a couple of big sporting events happen Saturday. One of them wasn't necessarily supposed to be big, ended up being big. The other one was the Mayweather-McGregor fight. I don't know if you caught that, Hood. We had a big barbecue at a friend's house, and it was, every radio show in the country is talking about that, so we're not going to go too deep into it. But I enjoyed it, had a good time watching it. The problem is they had this big fight going on, and you had an IndyCar night race in St. Louis, and it ended up being one of the best IndyCar races in like years. And nobody got to see it because there's this massive fight. So I just had to give a shout out to our friends at IndyCar. They were in St. Louis at Gateway. They're running an oval, and I guess it was just a phenomenal race. I saw some highlight clips. I guess literally it was a packed house, like 60,000 people there. I guess the sponsors, the promoters, everybody went to bat to make this deal happen. And I guess it was literally from a grassroots level all the way up to corporate level. Like this, I guess from what I understand, IndyCar just absolutely knocked it out of the park. And then the part that you can't count on is the racing on track, and I guess it was just a phenomenal race that went down to the wire, and Newgarden ended up winning. Awesome. But I guess everything, it was like one of those, like I'm getting texts from people at the event. Put this on your calendar. You guys have to be at this one next year. It's mind-blowing how good this is. So I'm just saying, nice. St. Louis next year, maybe in August, Hood. I think we may need to put that on the calendar.
Yeah, well, I'll add it to the 20 other thousand things I have on my calendar. So, yeah, Jim, I'll
slide her in there. Oh, you've got friends in IndyCar. Connor Daly, I'm sure he'd love to see Amy Hood again.
Yeah, I know. I've just, I'd really like to participate in, hang out into more of the four-wheel side of racing next year. Obviously with my transition, I just it's a whole new crew of people. I've been around the motor scene forever, but it's nice to change faces, and it's nice to meet the other side of the motorsports industry. I always call it the two-wheel and the four-wheel, and like constant competition with each other. But I really enjoy and can appreciate the four-wheel side of the world now, more so than I could before.
Yeah. I mean, we still love two wheels, but there's just, I don't know, there's a place for everything, right? But we got to take a short break. When Amy and I come back, we got a lot more to talk about here. She's got some stuff to bring up. I got to talk some Travis Pastrana and his big championship over the weekend. So a lot of it coming at you here in the next segment here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZs, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. And Amy, over the weekend, our good friend, Mr. Travis Pastrana, there's like a couple of tie-ins to this, but anyways, Travis, good friend of yours and mine, a year ago today, or this last weekend, you and I were in Minnesota with Mr. Pastrana and had a good time at a bar called Zorba's, I believe, in Detroit Lakes. But anyways,
Zorba's,
yeah. So fast forward 12 months, a lot different scene there in Detroit Lakes. We were sitting at the bar with Pastrana as the rally was going on because he was down and out. This year, he was competing for a championship, and this championship went down to the wire, literally went down to the last stage or the last two stages of the event to determine it was a tie going into like the last two stages down there on the street stages. David Higgins, from what I understand, ended up clipping a cone and just barely clipped a cone, and it cost him like a 30-second penalty or something like that. Pastrana ends up winning, But anyways, I just got to give Travis credit. Going up against David Higgins, one of the best in the business, one of the best rally drivers, I would say, globally. And, he trained Travis. This was like Travis's mentor. I mean, Higgins took him under his wing like 15 years ago, when Travis was a kid. And now for Travis to come back and beat David, I don't know, Travis and I were texting over the weekend, and he's just amped. But this is the prodigy beating the teacher. This is a massive deal for Travis. And knowing David, he's going to come back next year and be on fire. You know what I mean? And he's liable to win the entire thing outright, you know what I mean, and go undefeated because that's what David does. But this is a big deal for Travis this year, to be able to finally, I guess, take down the teacher. I mean, and their teammates, but this is a big deal. So I just got to give shout out to Travis. I mean, I think, because of his crashes and his stunts, he doesn't get the credit he deserves as a proper race car driver. Everybody goes, oh, Travis just going to crash. Well, he's actually become a really damn good race car driver and I don't think he gets the level of respect he deserves. But this year, I got to tell you, he threw it down in ARA Rally. So big props to Mr. Pastrana.
Yeah, no, and absolutely. It's nice to have a little bit of redemption, too, because I knew how rough last year was, hitting a tree, and, both guys are sitting in the bar, obviously having a good time, but it's a little devastating not be able to at least finish. Penalties, that's a thing, but not being able to finish, that kind of hits home a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, and tying in with this, like Travis, so he races Vegas to Reno, longest off-road race in the country with me last week. Then all of a sudden he's at ARA, wins a championship this week. I think he's got some time off, but then in September he's going NASCAR truck racing in Las Vegas. Well, one of his sponsors, Silencer Co., that makes the suppressors for guns and things like that. Jim York over there, he's a good friend of mine. He's a good friend of Street Bike Tommy's, Jolene's. Anyways, BJ Baldwin. We all, we're all friends there, and I'm sure you guys have seen, Tommy posting pictures of him shooting guns and stuff with Silencer Co. and Travis. They're a sponsor on Travis's truck, right? So, anyways, Jim and I were talking about, how we can, kind of get some momentum for Travis, in this truck, you know what I mean? Because he does have a shot to do really well, But anyways, we were talking about that, so it sounds like I'm going to go out shooting with the boys from Silencer Co. at some point. And Jim goes, well, man, he's like, at some point, he's like, I got to get your co-host Amy down here to the United States. We got to take her out shooting with us. I'm like, I'm sure Hood'd have no problem shooting guns and blasting stuff. So I'm just telling you, there's an invite there,
yeah.
Amy.
Count me in. Give me a call, Jim. I'm down if I'm in the country. And it's probably in America, so I'll be closer than normal.
Yeah, for sure. So I know, enough with what I've got going on and all this other stuff. What's up with you? I know you had a crazy race this weekend, right?
Yes, I had one of the A, gnarliest, B, funnest races I've had in years. So this weekend I had a race called the Legends. Or Home of the Legends. So, throwback years and years and years ago, it's actually kind of the origin track of Manitoba motocross in Austin, Manitoba. They used to have a Canadian National back in the day. My dad had won a Canadian championship in Austin. But it is one of the gnarliest sand tracks out there. Like, I can honestly vouch, Gopher Dunes is one of Canada's toughest sand tracks. And there's some over in Europe as well, but Austin was known to be one of the gruelingest races. It is that fine, endless beach sand. And I got to experience it for sure with, what all the hype has been about over these years. But it's kind of cool because Austin was actually my first race I ever did when I was 4 years old. So I've been riding since I was 2. I had training wheels on my first bike. But Austin was the first track my dad actually started the first 50cc race so that me and another girl could race because we were just little kids puttering around the track forever. And so 24 years ago I rode on Austin and they closed it down. It was not available for the public, and they actually turned it into a golf course.
Really?
So, yes. So, everybody kind of came out of the woodwork. Ross Pedersen, who has 47 championships under his belt. My dad, Kim Hood, new Canadian champions, old Canadian champions, just, this event just full of historic talent was all there. And the cool thing about it was, now it was this whole new generation. So, it was kids and sons and daughters of these past champions racing as well. So it was a pretty special event, and it was really, really fun. But so I decided, okay, I'm going to come out, I'm going to race women's class, borrowed my friend Michelle's bike, because the two-stroke would have been ridiculously challenging in that terrain. So I needed a four-stroke. Call up my girl. I'm like, Michelle, I'm borrowing your bike. I'll fix her up. I'll wash it. Get to go. Well, I roll in there just wanting to race women's class. I'm just here to have a good time, chat with old people, and, get out alive. I got Monster Jam coming up. Well, there's another race called the Ironman, and it was 40 minutes plus 2 laps. And all these people are like, Amy, why don't you do the Ironman? Do the Ironman. I'm like, fine, I'll do the Ironman. And, I was like, okay, cool, I'll space it out. No, Ironman women's back-to-back. So I had 65 minutes of racing. Turns out Ironman was actually clocked at a 51. I get it, cool, people do enduro, it's long. This is not enduro. There is no rest. There is no bush section. There is no first gear through the trails and the tiles. This is 60-minute motocross race, okay, in the sand. So this was a grueling event, and I had a 15-minute women's race before that I won, and then I go and line up at the Ironman with like 60 people on the line, 450s, 500s, and past Canadian national champions, okay? Here I am, on my friend's 4-wheeled bike, pulling a freaking huge hole shot, third into the corner, and really got to experience what it was like to ride in Austin, because, that fine sand. Like, I rode the first or second lap completely blind, because all, the big bikes, the 400s the 500s and 450s are just roosting up all this dirt, and you're back to back, and, there's 60 riders on the track, and I couldn't see a dang thing. So that was an experience and a half, and I finished strong, the Ironman, and I was still charging. It was so funny. I feel extremely underestimated by my own family. My dad didn't race the Ironman, and my mom said that she totally thought every time I'd come around, my elbows would be down, I'd be huffing and puffing, and she even told me she didn't think that I would be able to finish. And what do you know? I finished on top and charged, and the last lap of past the guy I was battling the whole race in front of me. So I like to now call that race the Iron Woman, and I slayed it, and it was a really good test of my, off-season training, because I felt fantastic, and it was really a good test of my character, and I was really proud to finish it. So that was my weekend.
That's gnarly. 60 minutes on dirt, but your arms had to have been like rubber at the end.
You know what? Yes and no, because, Jim, I've been really working hard, really training, and it's one of those things, too, it's kind of mind over matter at a certain point. We talk about this in the trophy truck as well. Your mind turns off and your body just goes.
Yeah.
It's your body can really withstand anything. It's the mind that you have to convince. So, I've been, pushing myself and training and, doing a lot of, muscle endurance types of, training in the off season here, and I actually wanted to do it to test myself, and I was also having such a blast. I was having so much fun, and there really was no pressure. I didn't have to win. No one really cares how you finish. It was just a point of finishing. So that, going into a race under that mentality as well really does a lot for your mental game. And I had people out on the track cheering me on, so every time I'd come, I'd hoot and holler at them, and it just made for such a great day. And I can honestly say that's one of the races that I feel most proud of my performance and my finish. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah. It's so crazy to think, being 28 years old, I'm probably at the prime of my motocross career. Honestly, I'm in better shape. Keegan won every one of my races. I'm currently undefeated so far this year. I have not been beaten yet. It's kind of weird. When the pressure's off, I figure out what I need to do.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you mentioned, you're like one of my ones I'm most proud of. And I know like me, I think one of the races I'm most proud of was the first time I went to Baja, and I'm talking in early 2000s or something like that. And I was a young kid, never raced down there. Went to the Baja 500, and it took me like 17, 18 hours to finish. And I soloed the whole thing. So I spent like 18 hours in the truck, and we had all kinds of problems and stuff like that. But you get in a groove, and at that point you're working on the truck and this and that. And then you get in a groove and you start clicking off miles and clicking off miles and clicking off miles, and it's like you don't even think about the time. It's just, you get in that zone. And like you said, your body, it's all mind. Your body will just, your body will do it. You just have to convince it to, and I got to the finish line and it was like 18 hours in, and it was just like, oh yeah, I am hurt. I'm sore. Like it's time to go to bed, but it's one of those until you have that adrenaline dump, you never realize it.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of, and like, it's pitiful. What's the word there? It's specific moments and races like that, Jim, that, your Baja race. I raced once when I had food poisoning, and I'll always remember it. And, a race like this as well. Those are specific moments that I will constantly go back to and remind myself, hey, I did this. My body withstood this. I raced with food poisoning. I was horrifically sick. I wanted to do this race. It was my first race back after a broken arm, and I needed to win. And I told my mind, tough it out. You got this. And, I won that race. And then, a race like this, it was long and enduring. And I'm like, Amy, you got this. You've been putting in the work. So these are really key moments, of our career. And I'm sure every athlete has that you go back to when you have times of difficulty and you're, needing to withstand or overcome something. You're like, you know what? I did this. This was one of the hardest challenges. And, you can do anything if you can do that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're going to take a short break. We come back. Keegan, Kincaid on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound of the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here. Amy had to duck out for a minute. She'll be back on here shortly, but she's in the middle of filming and doing a few things. But right now, I'd like to welcome my next guest to the line, Mr. Keegan Kincaid. How's everything going, Keegan?
Good. How are you, Jim?
I'm doing well, man. This is I'm excited, man. I get to go to Crandon this weekend. I don't know that life can get much better than that.
Yeah, we're out here right now setting up some arms, and we got some nice weather. And teams are starting to move in and starting to pack in already on Tuesday, so it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you guys have like your reserve spot there that's been like in the family for years, and everybody knows like you just don't touch this because this is where the Kincaids are set up?
Yeah, we've been ever since I remember, we've been that number one spot as since my dad's done it, and I guess it's just a traditional spot, and it's our lifetime spot until we keep filling it. So yeah, we got one of the best spots in the house. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is a big deal for you. I mean, this is your race, right? I mean, do you, obviously you've got, the one that happens earlier in the summer, and then you've got, you've got the big one that happens over the Labor Day weekend. But I mean, this has got to be one that gets you guys amped up as a family. I mean, this is, your backyard. This is, this is the big one, right?
Yeah, I'm literally like 5 minutes away from the racetrack, and I grew up here in Crandon. My family's all from here, my friends. So this is the race that I look forward to most out of every year. And to be able to come here and race is a dream come true, and race in front of my fans, family, and friends. And, we got a huge support here from not just our family, but the whole community. And they've been over backwards just to help us. So it's always fun to get an opportunity to come here, not only in the spring, but in the fall when it's the majority of the short course world comes and races here. And it's going to be really exciting this year.
Yeah, well, and I think this year, too, I mean, you're just looking at the guys that I know are coming out there. I mean, Kyle LeDuc. I mean, big news is Carl Renazetter, he's coming back to Crandon, before retirement. I think this is one everybody's wanted to see for a long time. I mean, he was named Crandon Carl for quite some time. I mean, he's coming back. I know Pro Light. I mean, I've heard of basically a fleet of Pro Lights that are coming to race. I mean, this whole East versus West thing on Sunday, that's got to have you pretty excited. I mean, you and the Greaves, I mean, you guys, do battle all year long, but to have these guys from the West Coast now coming in, I mean, that's really got to have you guys excited to elevate your game, and prove, hey, we're better than the West Coast guys, right?
Yeah, I'm excited, and talking with Greaves and those guys, we can't just let these West Coast boys come into our hometown and take over the show, but it's going to be the best I think it's ever been since I've been racing, with Kyle, Doug McTagg showing up and Kyle's old truck. I mean, it's going to be anybody's game. And, Patrick Clark's coming into Pro 2. I think, there's going to be a 15 Pro Lights. It's going to be an awesome show and something these people aren't going to want to miss. If you're not here live, you can stream it and be able to watch it. But, I'm excited. My whole crew's excited. I've been looking forward for this for – all since last year, since we won it, so I'm looking for a little bit of some repeat, and this year we're in the Pro 4, so looking to come back, and, we finally getting things figured out in the Pro 4, and I think we have a really good shot to go back to back, so.
Yeah, well, and here's the question for you for that, for the Cup race, right? I mean, you've got, Pro 2 and Pro 4. I mean, Pro 2s get to start before the Pro 4s. I mean, what you obviously you're in the Pro 4 this year, but I mean, do you feel like there's any? Is it better to run the Pro 4? Do you think the Pro 2s just because it gets to start ahead are a little bit of an advantage, or are you more excited to be the hunter instead of the hunted this year?
Yeah, I think you said it right. You know, I'm excited to be the hunter. You know, I don't like being hunted and running for dear life in the pro too. You know, it's just you listen to your spotter telling you splits times, and it keeps getting shorter and shorter, and you're trying to push as hard as you can. And where the Pro 4, you're nose down, going forward, looking to chase down the Pro 2s. And I really enjoyed that when I got an opportunity to race Mike Jenkins Pro 4. And, you know, that was one of our decisions to go to Pro 4 is for this race. And we wanted our best opportunity. Yeah, we wanted the Pro 2, but we feel like we can do it in the Pro 4. And it's against the best drivers in the world. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, you know, and that's one thing that's got me excited, and this is not taking anything away from anybody else in Torque or Lucas, you know, for that matter. But I mean, I feel like aside from a couple of guys, I mean, there's a few names like, you know, Deegan, who's not going to be back there and things like that. But I feel like, you know, from the West Coast and then the Torque series, I mean, you guys have, you know, it's pretty much the top guys this year that are shooting it out for this, you know, and I think that's what's exciting, because me as a fan, you know, like, you know, and a guy that covers this, like, we haven't seen that in a long time. I mean, once in a while you were the Greaves that, you know, I'd go to the West Coast, and once in a while we'd see one of the West Coast guys, you know, Kyle's been back there and McCachran a few times and things like that recently. But, you know, this is the first time we've seen the top guys battling it out, you know, and I think that's what's exciting for all the fans. You know, it's like, hey, we're finally getting this, you know, this event that we've wanted for so long.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I'm just as much a fan of the sport as I'm a driver, you know, and I enjoy watching it. And I know I would want nothing more than to have the top drivers in Lucas and the top drivers in Torque come together. And I think it is this year. You know, you have Doug Matag, Kyle LeDuc, Carl Rennezener, who's been running up front. All these guys that are really good contenders and winners out west are coming here to meet Johnny, CJ, myself, and everybody else in Torque. And I think it's going to be a really good show, and the fans are going to really have the best show they've probably seen in the last 5 years here at Crandon.
Yeah, I am beyond amped for this. I mean, you know, talk about you know, the 2017 season though. I mean, you know, obviously you know, you mentioned you and the Greaves, and it kind of seems like, you know, there's been some other guys mixed in there as well. But you guys have you know, it's just been a battle all year long. You guys have you know, it's kind of there's a handful of guys, and you just kind of throw them in the mix, and it's like, who's going to pop out, you know, on top? I mean, how's 2017 been for you guys so far?
Yeah, it's been good. You know, we started off the year with a brand new truck, and we literally set it down the day we had to go test in Chicago. And we didn't have really high expectations for the truck, and it's been flawless. You know, all year we've been tuning it and dialing it in, and to be only 8 points out of first place, you know, we're ecstatic, and we couldn't ask for, you know, a better opportunity, you know, to maybe go win a points championship this year against Johnny, CJ, Scott Douglas. And, you know, everybody that's been, you know, here for years. You know, this is our first full year in Pro 4, and I think we're right where we want to be, and we can continually progress. We got our first win in Redbud a couple weeks ago, and we're looking to carry that momentum into Crandon this weekend, and I think we got something for them.
Yeah, well, how is it this year too? Because I mean, in a lot of years, Crandon's kind of been the last race of the year for the Torque series. But this year, you know, you guys have another round after Crandon. I mean, how's that for you guys?
Yeah, you know, we are going to be finishing up the season at ERX with 3 rounds because of a rainout, and that's going to be really interesting. You know, usually we're finishing at Crandon, and this is the main event, the final of the season, but we are continuing to go to ERX in 3 weeks' time, and it's going to be interesting coming down to the wire. I've never raced since we haven't finished at Crandon, so it's going to be new for me. The weather is going to be a little different, and I'm excited because it gives us an opportunity to look for a points champion in Torque instead of all of our focus is on the Cup champion at Crandon. So I think it's going to be good. Racing's going to be tight, and it's going to be a battle to the finish.
Yeah, well, in talking about that, I mean, you know, I've heard some of the West Coast, and I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I know some of the West Coast guys I've heard with like Pro 4s, they're going to park it on Saturday, not race, you know, the Torque event, and just literally show up for Sunday's event. You know, a guy like you've got to race both days, you know, and you know, as much as you want that title, like a lot of the focus is on Sundays because there's the big payday and everything else that's happening. So, I mean, do you feel like you almost got to race more conservative on Saturday to make sure you've got a truck for Sunday? I mean, is there any, you know, it's got to be pretty tough to be in that position where you know you're going to have guys that come in that they're just not going to race on Saturday because they want to focus on Sunday.
Yeah, I think that just throws another wrench into things, you know, with the Torque Series racing, you know, Saturday night. It's going to be a tight turnaround to get the truck ready. So I'm sure a lot of us are going to be racing a little bit conservative, but it's hard. You know what it is when you get on the track. It's hard to race conservative and race smart. But, you know, it's what it's going to come down to is we want to be ready for Sunday's event where we have an opportunity to win, you know, $60,000, $70,000 and come home with that Crandon World Cup. You know, that's, I think, where the majority of the people's minds are at. And Saturday's going to be good, though. You know, we're still going into a tight points battle, and anything can happen. And we got to be prepared to be able to fix the truck and get it ready to go Sunday.
Yeah, well, and I know, you know, talking to the boys over there at Vision Wheel, I've got some friends over there, and they're pumped I'm coming back. I know they stepped up pretty big in your program this year. You know, they've got a big part of, you know, Crandon as well. You know, they've got, I think, like an entire hospitality center and stuff like that. So it's got to be pretty exciting having some of those sponsors, you know, heavily involved in Crandon, you know, it's your hometown race and things like that.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity from Vision Wheel. You know, they hopped on board with me this year, and as of now, they're the title sponsor, you know, for Fall Crandon. And they stepped up huge with Crandon. You know, they got the new bleacher section, all Vision Wheel on the track, and it's awesome to see that in my hometown and someone that supports me, not only me, but supports Crandon. And that's huge for our community, and I look for many good things that come from Vision Wheels in the future.
Yeah. So, you know, looking farther down the road, I mean, I know, you know, I've got race programs, you've got a race program. We're already, you know, we're racing in 2017, but you and I both know, like, business dealings and stuff are already in the works for 2018. I mean, you know, obviously, you know, the Torque Series in Crandon, I mean, that's, you know, your last name is Kincaid. I mean, that's where you guys are going to be. But any chance we see you, you know, do some West Coast stuff or maybe some, you know, throw in some other events maybe in 2018?
Yeah, you know, and that's what I'm looking forward to is the opportunity to go race against the best in the world. You know, I want to give myself, you know, not just limit myself to one series, but I want to be able to race everywhere. And we're working on it. I mean, Torque has been amazing. We look forward to racing again here next year and hopefully growing with them. And I love the tracks in the Midwest, but I also want to race against the best of Ryan McCaffrey and Carl Rennigan or Kyle LeDuc. So I look forward to creating a couple opportunities on my schedule to go out and race against them. Hopefully, you know, next year we didn't get to Wheatland this year, but next year that's one on my bucket list for sure. And hopefully go there and show the Lucas boys how it's done. So.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time, Keegan. I know I'll be around doing some interviews on Saturday out there at the track, so I'll definitely swing by and say hey to you guys. And you know, good luck this weekend. I'm excited. This is my first Crandon. I've actually been back there, so I'm pumped, man.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. You know, it's something to see. If someone's never been here, it's something you have to knock off your bucket list. If you like any types of racing, this is where you need to be and to see the best and the best battle at it. So I look forward to seeing you here and look forward to some great racing.
All right. Thanks a lot, Keegan. Take it easy, buddy. We'll see you this weekend.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
All right, that was Keegan Kincaid, Crandon local there, getting ready to race in this amazing event we got coming this weekend at Crandon. A lot more Crandon to come in, but I got to tell you, I had a lot of people hit me up and wondering about you know this show that we plugged in before this show. It's called Heritage Road. If you subscribe to our RSS feed, you probably saw it. But it's a new podcast on the history of NASCAR. Heritage Road, it's a 6-part miniseries that takes you behind the wheel, the history and tradition of NASCAR, and under the hood of the science of the sport. Stuff like, do you really know what a G-force feels like? Or one of the sport's most promising stars who was shot down in his prime over some sugar. Heritage Road is hosted by Rich Phillips, voice of Texas Motor Speedway, and brought to you by Busch, the beer that supported racing since 1979. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris Razor because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRazor.com or follow at Polaris Razor on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety. As certain as the sun rises and sets around the world, OTSFF Group is dedicated to providing flexible, comprehensive, and reliable transportation solutions. Air transportation, ocean freight, ground transportation, or a combination of services. We offer innovative and custom-built packages specifically designed to meet your transportation needs. OTSFF Group has been keeping shipments moving globally for nearly 2 decades. OTSFF Group, flexible logistics services designed for you. More information at OTSFF.com.
Celebrate Mexican Independence Day with the Selena Tribute Show. Los Chicos del 512. Live Saturday, September 16th. Inside the showroom at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Doors open at 6. Show starts at 7 p.m. General admission just $20. Or VIP tickets only $30. Available now at the Blue Water Resort and Casino. Or visit BlueWaterFun.com.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
MMA at its best, and it's back. It's the RUF 21. Live cage fights on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino showroom. Saturday, September 9th. See Armando Murillo versus Daviante Jones. Live for the title. Doors open at 6 p.m. Get your $25 ringside tickets now. General admission just $15. Tickets available online or at the gift shop. Live cage fights on the river.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water. Right on the money.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, getting ready to kick off some Lucas Oil off-road racing results. Brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, who remind you that anywhere is possible. And I got to tell you, definitely check out that new General Tire Grabber X3. Running them on all my vehicles at this point. And they've also got a amazing new all-terrain tire out as well. So definitely check them out, GeneralTire.com. And Lucas Oil, they were in action up there in Reno this past weekend. And that's going to make for a long trip to those guys going over to making their trip over to Crandon, but stoked to see them, some of the West Coast guys out there at Crandon. But your Lucas Oil off-road results, UTVs round number 9, it was Brock Higger with the win, followed by Paul O'Brien and Ray Bullock. Round number 10, it was Brock Hager, Paul O'Brien, and Brandon Arthur finishing 1, 2, and 3. Pro Buggy, round number 9 up there in Reno. It was Sterling Kling, followed by Darren Hot Sauce Hardesty and Elliot Watson. And then your round number 10 results up there in Reno. It was Sterling Kling once again, followed by Hardesty and Watson once again. Pro Light, round number 9. It was Brock Hager, Jarrett Jarrett Brooks on those General Tires, and Brandon Arthur finishing 1, 2, and 3. And then round number 10 of the Pro Light went to Jarrett Brooks on those General Tires, Brock Heger, and Christopher Palverde, which I think might be his first podium finish ever. Looking at Pro 2, I got to tell you, it was a big win for Mr. R.J. Anderson. Big weekend. We'll get to that in a minute. But R.J. Anderson in that Polaris Razor truck, Brian Deegan, Jeremy McGrath, who has seen a resurgence the past 2 years in short course racing. Jeremy McGrath with the round 10 win. Bradley Morris, Jarrett Brooks, another podium for those General Tires. And then Pro 4, round number 9, it was Carl Renazetter, the legend, followed by Kyle LeDuc and Doug Mittag, 1, 2, and 3. And then round number 10, I got to give a big shout-out to my Polaris Razor teammate, R.J. Anderson, first ever Pro 4 win. Doug Mittag, Rob McCachran, 1, 2, and 3. The wow man, Adrian Cheney, he's there in fourth. Solid effort by Mr. Adrian Cheney. And those are your Lucas Oil off-road racing results, brought to you by our good friends at General Tire, who remind you that anywhere is possible. So, it was a great weekend for them. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got a Dirtfish Rally Report coming at you.
Like what you hear? Catch all the back episodes of the Down and Dirty Radio Show on Apple Podcast, and be sure to rate, review, and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Rolling right into a Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And big news coming out of the Ojibwe Forest Rally up there in Minnesota. Travis Pastrana taking home that ARA championship, followed by David Higgins and Jeff Seahorn. Those were your 3 overall winners, or I guess on the overall podium. Ryan Millen taking that 2-wheel drive win. So stoked for him, and Jeff Seahorn, he had that super production win. So Ojibwe Forest Rally happening up there. And also got to give a big shout out to our friends at Subaru, obviously another overall championship, but they've been having this amazing series called Launch Control, dropping each and every week, award-winning series, all about, Subaru Rally Team USA. They just dropped the one from Mount Washington this past week, and that was when I was up there with Travis Pastrana when he broke the record. So you can get that full story, the whole video, amazing video that's dropped. It's all over, it's all, I think Race Desert's actually got that on the front page of their website, but it's on Facebook, YouTube. You can definitely check it out, but it's an amazing video, amazing piece, award-winning series. You should definitely check that out. And our friends at Dirtfish, coming up next week, if you are going to be at the event in Seattle, the Red Bull Global Rallycross event in Seattle, our friends at Dirtfish Rally School, they're throwing a pre-event party there at Dirtfish. So make sure, and I think they're actually giving away free shirts to everybody that is in attendance, and that's September 2nd from 11 to 5 p.m. at Dirtfish Rally School there before GRC Seattle. So make sure and head over there and check that out, man. It's always a good time at Dirtfish Rally School. So you can go and check out that pre-race party there at Dirtfish. They're gonna have like ride-alongs and all kinds of stuff happening, autograph signings, free shirts, food, the whole works. Check it out. You can see all their vintage rally cars. Not much better there, but that's happening before GRC Seattle, September 2nd. So make your way over to Dirtfish. Make it an entire trip out of it, always good times there at Dirtfish Rally School. And that was your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web, www.dirtfish.com. We'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on 4 wheels? The Polaris Razor brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris Razor because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris Razor because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team Razor because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RazorLife to share your story. Your life demands a tire that provides durability, comfort, and performance, and that's what General Tire delivers for you. From the all-season grip of the Grabber UHP to the comfort and on-road manners of the Grabber HTS to the durability and off-road traction of the Grabber AT2, General has a tire that will help get you where you need to go. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible, because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
MMA at its best, and it's back. It's the RUF 21. Live cage fights on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino Showroom. Saturday, September 9th. See Armando Murillo versus Daviante Jones. Live for the title. Doors open at 6 p.m. Get your $25 ringside tickets now. General admission just $15. Tickets available online or at the gift shop. Live cage fights on the river.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by one of my really good friends, Mr. Joe Duncan with Terracross. This is Terracross Starts with Optimus, brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters, who start every Polaris RZR in the Terracross Championship, as well as the RZR Star Car, and just about everything else in my garage. But Joe Duncan, welcome to the line, my friend.
Hello, Jim Beaver. How in the heck are you?
Good, man. It's about time for those Optimus starters to get a bunch of Polaris RZRs cranking at the Terracross Championship here in about a week and a half.
Well, they're already starting at K2 Motorsports up at the race shop, and we've got Graham and the mechanics crew building out machines, and they're pretty much prepped. We even I know this is hard to believe, but we even have like 5 or 6 machines wrapped and ready to go racing.
There's no way.
I know that's. I mean, we're a week and a half out, but
what's the rush, Joe?
Crazy. I know. It's not 3 a.m. on Friday morning of haydays. I mean, we're getting crazy.
Oh man, we're dialed in. I know I got a text message from my good friend James Hill at IMG. He's been doing a bunch of rally RZR stuff and built the Star Car, but he was amped. Sounds like he's going to be back this year. So that's a guy who took a year off, but it sounds like he's going to be back for 2017. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, James actually was one of the first guys to jump into Terracross many years ago. He was one of the first guys to come in and get a race package and come play with us. And then, he had some work stuff come up and he couldn't do it. And for 2 years now, he's been talking about getting back out here and racing. And obviously Sarah Price is here winning championships and a top contender in the women and men's class,
yeah.
Which which is his girlfriend, and it's going to be good to have him back, and going to be racing the HMS turboed Razor this year. So with his IMG motorsports company on board, so pretty pumped to have James back, and we got some other athletes, coming back and getting stuff ready to go. Cole Coutu coming off a motocross leg injury, and he's feeling good, and he's going to be ready to rip, and just putting everything, all the pieces of the puzzle together.
Yeah, Cole Coutu, man. I got to tell you, and I've said this on air before, and I know, his dad's a good friend of ours and everything else, but I look at him and I go, this is a kid, he's raced Razors, rally cars, motocross, snowmobiles, and he's pretty much been a winner at everything he's touched. Like, to me, this kid, I'm excited to see where his career takes him in the next couple of years, Joe, because I think he's so talented. You hope that some big sponsor team spots that and they put him in something somewhere,
I don't know if he can get it much better than he has it right now.
Yeah.
And he gets all of his racing skills from his dad, Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff and I went to high school together, and him and I used to race snowmobiles against each other. So that's where Cole gets all of his skills from, is from his dad.
Yeah. At least Jeff's going to tell you that one way or another, right?
Exactly. I hear it every time we're sitting out in front of that nice race shop he has, where Cole gets his skills, mad skills from.
Yeah. So we're a week and a half out. I know next week we've got we got a big Terracross segment planned, but what can you tell us? I mean, Heydays, everything kind of coming together. I know Nate Wessel, I saw him posting some stuff onto social media. He's pumped. I mean, what's the next week and a half look like for you, Joe?
Yeah, Nate Wessel getting his car. It's not officially released yet, but he has the DeWalt Tools car coming to Terracross this year. And he's super pumped to be on board with DeWalt, and we're super pumped to have him and the DeWalt Razor coming to play with us. Western Power Sports, a great partner of ours, again, worked with them for many, 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 many years. And last year they really stepped up to the table with Terracross, and they've done it once again this year. And Sedona Tire and Wheel, Open Trail, 999 Optics, Fly Racing, all the great products from Western Power Sports. We actually have them teamed up with a couple of great Polaris dealers, and going to be doing some really cool stuff out at Heydays. Got a lot of giveaways. Yesterday, we got our deal done with Peg Perigo, really a unique name. If you ever go into Walmart or Target or any of these stores, and it's the 12-volt kids razors and slingshots and Jeep lookalike vehicles, they've come on board, and we're going to have a full-on 12-volt and 24-volt kids ride and drive at Heydays, along with a little mini race we've got working on and we're setting up. And you've probably seen some of the posts on our social media with some of their machines already. But yeah, as of yesterday, we had a great conference call, and it looks like they're going to be a long-term partner of Terracross, and we're going to start these kids nice and young in that 3 to 4 year old range and run them all the way up till they get into a Polaris Turbo XP 1000 and get them all the way through the gamut there. So pretty excited about bringing up that youth program as well.
Yeah, so I know a lot of the racers. I mean, I'm excited. I know fans. I've actually had a question on social media. But what do we know about the track? Heydays is always an interesting one. I think track design last year was tremendous. What are we looking at this year as far as track design goes, Joe?
So we were just out there last weekend and going over that, and the track design is going to be similar. We've got some new features coming in. We've got some new couple new things to add into the corners for obstacles to break up those lines a little bit. But last year, everybody said it. That was the best track we've ever had at Heydays. And even though we're going to have a much larger freestyle program this year, the track is going to stay big and technical like it was. And I mean, we'd really had some of the best racing we've ever had out there last year, and I don't think we really want to mess with that. So we got some big jumps. We got some, little fast section, a couple of what we call ant hills, the crawl over hills, and of course the massive tire section, which we're working on a partner with right now to announce that just before Heydays.
Yeah, that's always a fan favorite. That tire pit, whatever you want to call it, is gnarly. We've seen some great moments in Terracross history happen there at Heydays right there. I think Haley Deegan last year, she backflipped one. That one's got to go down as one of the best moments ever, and she just stood on the gas and went right back up. But always a ton of fun with that.
Yeah, her and Cole Coutu did that. Yeah, we got our Ziegler Caterpillar equipment is showing up this week, and Jason Luberg and Billy Young and Jeremy all getting out there, and we'll have a track being built this weekend and be ready to rip. We might even, if we get the time, we might even come up and say hi to you up in Crandon, up at the big race up there with the truck race.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think Crandon's always a fun one. I think back-to-back weekends, man, Crandon and Heydays. It's Amy and I were talking about earlier on in the show. She goes, man, you better pace yourself, Jimmy. I said, yeah, this could be bad news for me by the end of the weekend at Heydays, I got to tell you. But I'm looking forward to it, Joe. Always fun. And, keep me in the loop if you guys make it up to Crandon. We'll definitely buy you dinner or drinks or something.
Sounds great, Jimmy. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Joe. All right, and that was our Terracross Starts with Optimus segment, brought to you by our good friends at Optimus Starters, starting every Polaris Razor in the Terracross Championship. Definitely check them out on the web. Optimus Starters, the best power sports starters in the business, hands down. We're going to take a short break. We come back. Ryan Beat, he is on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
MMA at its best, and it's back. It's the RUF 21. Live cage fights on the river in the Blue Water Resort and Casino Showroom. Saturday, September 9th. See Armando Murillo versus Daviante Jones. Live for the title. Doors open at 6 p.m. Get your $25 ringside tickets now. General admission just $15. Tickets available online or at the gift shop. Live cage fights on the river.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Do you race, or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500, or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
Want the latest from Jim Beaver and Amy Hood? Follow at Jim Beaver 15 and at Amy Hood 71 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver here, joined on the line by Mr. Ryan Beat. How's everything going, Ryan?
Good. How are you guys?
Oh, doing well. I don't know. We may have Amy pop in. She's out filming videos today, but she said, "Oh, if Beat's calling in." She's like, I got to call back in. So I don't know. She's off the clock, but I think she's gonna try and call back in. So we'll see. We might have a surprise here in a bit. But I don't know. She's got some kind of crazy question for you. So no telling what she's a wild card, man. I plead the fifth on this one. But
definitely, I don't understand that one.
Yeah, how's everything been with you, man? Life good? You guys are traveling back to Crandon right now? You guys on the road?
Yeah, we're actually on the road right now, driving to Crandon. We're about 200 miles out from actually being at the racetrack, so pretty excited. It's going to be a fun time.
Dude, you're making good time. I mean, that had to have been. What did you guys pack up on Sunday in Reno and immediately hit the road?
Yeah, we were pulling out of the racetrack at Reno at like 5:45, 6 o'clock-ish on Sunday night, and we're just kind of getting into Wisconsin right now.
Wow, yeah, I just we had Keegan Kincaid on the show earlier, and they were out there setting up, and he said people are starting to fill in, so it sounds like you guys are going to be there right on time, man.
Yep, no, it should be good. We never been back here, so I'm pretty excited to come back and get to race this race.
Yeah, and this one I think is the big one this year. I mean, every year Crandon is big, but it seems like, I guess they're calling it the non-denominational Sunday race, where it's not Torque, it's not Lucas, it's just the best of the best. And, that's got to have you pretty darn excited to be able to take part in that on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. It's a cool event. It's not East, it's not West, it's for the good of the sport at that point. We're giving our sponsors what they need, and that's the exposure that they need, East Coast and West Coast. And so it's kind of fun to be able to get together at this one event and do what we're supposed to do, and that's give our sponsors the exposure that they deserve for doing what they do for us.
Yeah. So, I mean, heading into Crandon, I mean, I know this is something I've talked to you in the past, and I talked to all drivers, and it's like every year they want to go back to Crandon, but it's like, whether it be Reno or budget or this and that, they're not able to make it happen. I mean, what made this the year for you guys to finally be able to pull the trigger and say, hey, we're going to Crandon?
Biggest thing, is just kind of at the point where I think all of short course is at, it's, we can't keep picking or choosing sides. We just got to kind of focus on going with what's going to do best for our careers and our sponsors and getting our sponsors the exposure that they deserve. So for us, it was just, numbers have been kind of hurting lately, attendance-wise, over on the other side. So we're like, let's go give our sponsors some extra love. They do a lot for us. All my sponsors have been with me a very long time. I mean, all my sponsors have been with me for 6-7 years plus now, so it's just kind of one of those. Let's do something a little extra this year. Let's go have some fun. Let's go race Crandon, and I've never been back here, so it's been a goal of mine to come back here and race. And this year it was just in the cards to be able to make it happen.
Yeah, well, and in talking about going back there and this your first year, I mean, obviously, we talk about the tracks on the East Coast and Crandon in particular, and then some of the stuff on the West Coast, and Crandon's a little more wide open and things like that, where sometimes it's a little bit tighter on the West Coast. But you've been picking anybody's brain as far as like setup and things like that go. I mean, do you have a pretty good baseline where you guys want to start with the truck? Because I'm sure you're going to have to change the setup from what you guys raced at Reno, right?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate enough to have two trucks, so I'm bringing both trucks. I got one setup in one truck and a different setup in another. I'm going to go run them both in the practice sessions on Thursday that we have and figure out which setup works best and then go from there, Luckily I've had some, help, from the guys at KMC and Competitive Metals stepped up for this event to help me be able to do it. And, both those companies have experience being back here at Crandon, so I picked their brain a little bit, and we're coming prepared, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Well, and are you, you're going to get back there. I've heard some of the West Coast guys are skipping the Saturday race and just doing the Sunday events. I mean, are you going to do them both? You've got two trucks, right? So if you were to wreck one, you at least have a backup truck, right?
No wrecking. So
I don't want to jinx you.
Yeah, right? No, so our plan is we've come this far, so we might as well race. You know, I need the track time, I need the seat time, and I need the setup time. You know, so I might as well race. We've come this far, so I'm going to race both days. You know, and obviously try to win some money both days, and then you know, plus it keeps me sharp on my toes going into Glen Helen. After Crandon here, we only got one weekend off, and then we're back to Glen Helen. So it's a good month of racing for me to, you know, make sure I'm sharp and ready for these last couple rounds of the Lucas season.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, you guys are having a good year. Pro Light, it's been a heck of a battle this year. I mean, you know, you got a lot of veterans in the class like yourself. You got some newcomers like, you know, Haley Deegan that's coming in. That she showed some, you know, some flashes of, you know, being really, really fast. I mean, obviously, you know, you and Brooks and a couple, you know, and a couple of the other guys have just been having a shootout, man. Pro Light's kind of been where it's at this year.
Yeah, Pro Light's definitely where it's at. You know, you have 7 guys right now at any given time that can win. You know, shoot, our qualifying times are only within a couple hundredths of a second of, you know, apart from each other. So Pro Light's where it's at. You know, it's the most competitive class by far right now, I think, in all of off-road. So it's been good. You know, there's a lot of people showing, you know, new guys showing speed, you know, including Haley. You know, it keeps me on my toes, keeps me pushing, keeps me driven and focused on what I want to do, and that's to win, you know. So this year's been good for us. We've had some tough luck breaks where we've gotten taken out, you know, a couple races and spun out by people. And we had one engine blow up in a flat, and that's all it's really made up my season. And other than that, we've had all podiums. So, you know, I can't complain too much. We're doing pretty good so far this year and would like to finish the year out strong.
Yeah. Well, I know you in particular, I mean, you're a guy you've raced both Pro 2 and Pro 4 before. You know, you've kind of made your home in Pro Light. It seems like a lot of guys, you know, they run Pro Light for a couple of years, and then immediately it's like, oh, we got to go to Pro 2 or we got to go to Pro 4 and we got to move up. But it seems like you're pretty happy with Pro 2. I mean, you've got a great race program. You guys are highly competitive there. I mean, you know, is there anything in the back of your mind going, oh, eventually I'd like to move up, or are you pretty happy being at home in Pro Light?
To be honest with you, I'm pretty happy being in Pro Light. You know, a lot of people ask me that question, when are you going to go Pro 2? Well, I'm in no rush. I don't see this as being, you know, just a couple-year thing where I come in, race Pro Light, jump to Pro 2 right away, and then run out of money. You know, I want this to be a career for me. So it, you know, I'm kind of trying to take my time and slowly build up to the point where when I go Pro 2 racing, I'm going to do Pro 2 at the level that I do Pro Light, and that's try to be at the, you know, top of the competition level. And to do that, obviously, takes funding. So, you know, I don't want to go out and half-ass it, if you can put it that way. So my plan is to keep chipping away at this Pro Light stuff, keep doing what we're doing, keep acquiring the sponsors like we've done so far, and you know, just baby step it, and eventually, you know, end up one day Pro 2, Pro 4 racing again.
Yeah, so right now I'm going to patch in. We got my good friend Marty Fiolka with Crandon. He's in on the next segment, but we're going to join him, splice him into the call. Marty on air with Jim Beaver, Ryan Beat. How's everything going, my friend?
It is a beautiful sunny day in Crandon, Wisconsin. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
finally.
Awesome.
So it's all good, and we're looking over some green grass and 400 acres of a racetrack that's going to be packed this weekend with everybody coming for the World Championships and Sunday's World Cup race.
Yeah, it sounds like Ryan's only about 200 miles out, so I think you're going to be seeing him this afternoon pop in there with his rig and setting up there, getting ready to go for his first Crandon.
Well, I tell you, you know, Ryan's one of those guys that we're really excited that's coming out. I mean, we just love all the younger talent in the sport as well as some of the, you know, the veterans we have coming, and it's great that he made the trip. I mean, it's a lot of work to come from Reno, obviously, out here to Crandon, but we're making the World Cup worth it. And I tell you what, Jimmy, we're looking at numbers right now. We've never sold out our camping spots ahead of time. We have 2,100 grass camping spots here, and they're all gone. So we know that, you know, grandstand seats are gone. So we know last year we had 49,600 to the gates in 2 days. We're going to have probably close to 55 to 60,000 people to the gates in 2 days here this weekend.
Wow. Well, I gotta.
Holy moly.
Yeah, I gotta say, Ryan. So this is your first time at Crandon. Obviously, we got Marty on the phone, but you know, I know you're a racer, but you like to have a bit of fun yourself. I mean, any chance we see you back in Jurassic Park at any point?
Definitely. You know, we have a good day on Saturday. I'm going to be back there having some fun for sure. So, no, I'm excited. I've heard a ton of good things about this event, and, you know, they do a great job of putting it on. The facility is beautiful. I've seen that from pictures. So I'm really excited to get back there and have some fun on the track and off for sure.
Yeah. So, Marty, we got Ryan on the phone. Obviously, this is my first time heading back to Crandon. Ryan's first time heading back to Crandon. I mean, what can we expect here, Marty, this weekend?
I want to break you guys in properly. That's all I can tell you. Well, the Crandon deal is great because I obviously love all kinds of off-road racing. I've been around it all my whole life. Crandon's so organic and it's so naturally built over 48 years. Like I said, people come. We open the gates tomorrow, Jimmy, at noon, and people will be lined up with their campers, and they'll be here until Monday morning. And they just come and have a great weekend. It's a totally different vibe than a kind of in and out Lucas weekend, which people come both days, and that's awesome. This is kind of an end of summer Woodstock Labor Day tradition, and people can expect a lot of things this weekend. They're going to expect, like I said, we're going to have a full house for sure. Looks like we got a break in the weather, which is no matter how you manage the event itself, weather here is a big deal. Looks like we're going to have sun. We've got a great group of West Coast guys like Ryan coming out to race this year in the World Cup. We'll have a $150,000 purse for Sunday. We've got obviously the Red Bull Suture Series filming Sunday for NBC in October, and had great ratings last year for that. So we've got and it's really exciting. I mean, every class is going to be stacked, but I think everybody's looking forward to the War and Pro 4 on Sunday, because we've got not only the great East Coast guys with the Greaves and Keegan Kincaid, who's local here, and Chad Ward and Scott Douglas and those guys, but now on the West Coast we've got Bryce Menzies, we've got Carl Rennezitter, which everybody knows has coming back for his victory tour. Crandon Carl's back in Crandon, which everybody's excited about. Kyle LeDuc, Doug Matag is super fast now too. Bradley Moore. So we're going to have the best stacked Pro 4 field that the sports seen probably in, 6-7 years, probably at least. Yeah. So it's going to be really exciting here. And I think that, putting up enough money for that, then obviously Sunday's big finale with the Amsoil Cup race, $48,000 to the winner, Pro 2 versus Pro 4. And we're going to have at least, looks like 22 to 24 trucks in that. So it's going to be on, and it's going to be, our fans are really excited, because the one thing that's exciting here that you're going to know, and Brian, you're going to find this out too, is that these fans are truly fans. They know the drivers, they know the deal, they know the trucks, they buy merchandise, they are in it. And so I've talk to Casey Curry, who's also coming, by the way. So he said he sells more merchandise here over Labor Day weekend than he sells pretty much anywhere else the whole season. So, in fact, for the whole season. So this is a big weekend for him, and like I said, it's going to be great. I'm so excited about this weekend. I can't stand it.
Awesome. Well, we got to take a short break. I know, Marty, we got you on in this next segment as well. But Ryan, stoked to have you going back to Crandon, buddy. Good luck this weekend. I'll be back there on Friday, so we'll definitely swing by the semi and say hey. And I don't know, you win. I'll be back in Jurassic Park with you, buddy. How about that?
For sure, let's do it.
All right. Thanks
right
a lot.
On. Thanks, guys.
All right, thanks, Ryan. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. You want extreme performance, reliability, and the most fun you can have on four wheels? The Polaris RZR brings it to you. But you don't need to take my word for it. You can take theirs.
I'm Tanner Faust, and I choose the Polaris RZR because it's the most fun you can have with a steering wheel.
What's up? I'm Ronnie Renner, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the sickest, most reliable side-by-side on the planet.
What's up, everybody? Heavy D from Diesel Brothers. Listen, I'm on Team RZR because it's hands down the best piece of machinery on the planet.
I'm RJ Anderson, and I choose Polaris RZR because it's the most fun, most capable machine.
Action sports stars, TV personalities, and some of the best race car drivers in the world all choose Polaris RZR because it's the ultimate combination of power, suspension, agility, and fun. Find out more information on the web at PolarisRZR.com or follow at Polaris RZR on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and use the hashtag RZRLife to share your story. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Do you race or are you a weekend warrior? Have you checked on the date on your helmet recently? Don't get caught off guard by using an outdated helmet. Impact Racing, the leader in motorsport safety, has new SA 2015 helmets to fit your budget. Whether you're looking for a helmet with a full carbon fiber shell to take you to victory at the Indy 500 or just looking for some helmets for a weekend at Glamis, Impact Racing has a helmet for you. Find out more information at impactraceproducts.com or on Facebook at Impact Safety.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Thanks for tuning in to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, available live online, in syndication on networks across the U.S., and available internationally on the American Forces Network.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver joined on the line by my good friend Marty Fiolka with Crandon International Off-Road Raceway. Marty, man, I'm just catching up with Ryan Beat in the last segment. Had Keegan Kincaid on earlier in the show, and sounds like the Kincaids already got their spot there at Crandon. I asked Keegan, I said, you and your dad, I said, you've got to have like this spot that everybody knows you just don't touch, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, we got spot number 1. He's like, I don't know how it's ours, but he's like, people just know that's like the Kincaid spot. And he goes, I guess until we quit racing, that's going to be like the Kincaid spot at Crandon. I just laughed, but there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, there's a lot of history here, and it's interesting here with the asphalt spots. They're actually when Crandon first actually decided they were going to concrete and add electricity to the pro pits, they actually had drivers step up to basically get a lifetime quote unquote spot, and guys like the Greaves and Scott Douglas and a bunch of those guys have done that. We're pretty much out of asphalt space, especially as we get more West Coast teams showing up here for Labor Day. So looks like in 2018 we'll be adding more concrete and doing some other upgrades. I mean, this place is constantly evolving, constantly being built. Cliff Flannery, who is going to the Off-Road Motorsports Hall of Fame this year, his whole life has been basically spent building this place. And, we have brand new grandstands this year, which we added, big investment in new kitchens and stuff to better serve our fans. So the place is growing. When you see it, it's 400 acres. I think Cliff is now purchasing another 100. And we're going to keep expanding and growing, and it's good for the sport and good for, of course, everybody here. And it's a unique place, Jimmy. When you come out here, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's it sounds like Disneyland for off-road fans, right? It's when you've got 400 acres and it's not enough, that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah, well, when we got 2,100 camping spots and that's not enough, then that's another problem to have. But but the fact of the matter is that this sport. We love short course off-road racing, love off-road racing in general, but the sport, needs to have, an Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It needs to have an Indy 500, which is why we created the Crandon World Cup, in association with Red Bull and Red Bull Media House, because we felt that the sport needed to have a day where everything, politically with the 2 series was put aside and we could just provide the biggest purse, the biggest fans, in terms of the numbers of fans and the biggest television package we could, and just let the sport kind of, follow behind it. And, we've had to work hard at that. I mean, there's, differences we had to do with rules and packages and things like that, but we're getting, kind of to be where this event has become a bit of a Switzerland, and everybody knows that, especially in today's times with the way the politics are and the way that the culture is, unity is a big thing. And I think that, we're pretty proud of the fact that, that we're bringing everybody together as best as we can. And, letting them go run here in front of this great crowd we're going to have.
Yeah, well, and talking about this year, I know, earlier in the year, Carl Renazetter announced, this was his last year, and you want to talk about a guy going out on top. I mean, Carl's still running at, at an elite level, you know what I mean? For him to bow out, it's literally because he just wants to retire. But I think what everybody wondered at the beginning of this year was, man, is Carl going to go back to Crandon? I mean, it's Crandon Carl. We got to see him at Crandon one more time before he retires. And, rumors were swirling, but nobody ever really knew, because there's obviously a sponsor conflict and things like that. But, when that announcement came, I mean, that's got to be exciting for everybody to have Carl back at Crandon.
Yeah, I mean, I often wondered. I mean, I would think that, I don't look at it as a sponsor conflict at all in the sense that, it's a big world out there. And if I were, Carl, or I were even Lucas Oil, perhaps I'd want my guy to go back and win the AMSOIL Cup. Why not? I mean, it is what it is, right? But yeah Carl, he was on our radar screen all year. It's been a conversation actually for 2 years, and to get him to come back, and it just was time, and it wasn't a very, obviously having the Reno race last weekend, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to bring the guys back. We've offered shop space here. We've offered, whatever we can do to help facilitate that. And, the guys are changing up and driving from Reno to here, and that's just the deal. But he's excited now, and he made a commitment. It took a while to get all the pieces and parts in place. It's pretty complicated when you really break it down. But, having him here is going to be a huge deal for our fans. That's going to be a huge deal for him. And, frankly, like I said, the nice part about how the working relationship we have with, let's say, both the MSI Torque and understand that this is an independent day, and the Red Bull Signature Series is that all the drivers get treated fairly. The television package is completely fair. It's not slanted one way or the other. Our publicity is not slanted one way or the other. We just want to open up, World Cup Sunday as something that's just a fair playground for everybody to come and race fairly and win some money and get some exposure. And that's been the beauty of the partnership with Red Bull Media House, is that they understand that. They want that. So it's going to be interesting to see. But Carl will get treated like the star that he is back here. And like I said, we've had a growth, an outpouring of fans come and call, buying camp spots because he's coming. I mean, it's been a big shift in the last week. So we knew it was going to happen, and we're glad it's all happening this year for sure.
Yeah, well, and I think for the fans, I mean, obviously, if you're a short course fan, you're a short course fan, and Carl, he may have been racing on the West Coast, but everybody in the Midwest is surely they, have been keeping track of him. To have him back there, I mean, Crandon helped make his short course career, back, he first started in short course. I think it's tremendous to have him back. I mean, not only that, but I mean, Menzies, Kyle LeDuc, I mean, the LeDuc's back at Crandon is always a big thing. You've got Mittag, you've got Casey Curry, you've got Ryan Beat. I mean, there's so many guys. I mean, and talking with both Keegan and Ryan, this is so exciting for everybody, that's an off-road or a short course fan, because, we're finally, I mean, there's a few that aren't going to be back there, but, for the most part, the big name guys, I mean, they're all there and they're competing on Sunday. And that's what us as fans, we've wanted for a long, long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we definitely as a now kind of as a promoter had to prove concept last year that nobody thought we'd even be able to get it done. And they certainly didn't think it would be fair, and they certainly didn't think that, the coverage on NBC would be the Signature Series was going to be, kind of fair, but it was. And, we proved it. And, this year we're going to prove it again. And I think it's going to come around. I mean, I think everybody can see the upside of having something like this. And there's only one place you could really do this, in my mind.
Yeah.
There's only one day you can really do this. I mean, 48 years of a tradition is hard to beat. And, you can't argue with the crowds and the fact they're growing still. And, you can't argue with that fact. So I think that all those pieces were the right thing to do. And I think the sport's going to grow from it everywhere. And that's what we want. And like you said, the fans want it. And I think, we're still missing some of the people, but I think that they're all talking about it. And, we're certainly going to move forward with this into next year and through our 50th anniversary in 2019. I think the Crandon World Cup is going to stay, and I think it needs to stay. And I think that if it unifies everybody, then it may not be necessary, but certainly it's great to have all the best racers on one track on one day in front of the biggest crowd, in front of the biggest purse. I mean, that's the whole concept. There's no other hidden agenda in terms of Crandon other than that. And I think that's everybody's now seeing that. I think there was all concerned that there was going to be some other hidden thing here that there really isn't. That's the whole point of it, and it's working. And now everybody like the Ryan Beats the world, and you get to come back and enjoy some of the hospitality things that are here and the concerts, and like you said, some of our fans and what goes on in the camping, and it's a whole unique experience, and it can't really be duplicated anywhere else.
No, that's for sure. And I got to ask, you mentioned 2019 50th anniversary. I mean, I know your gears are already in motion thinking. I mean, we got some exciting stuff over the next year or two. We're gonna start hearing about this 50th anniversary at Crandon.
Yeah, I mean, we've already ramped up with some of our ideas on what we're going to do. I think, the biggest thing is still moving forward. I mean, that by 2019, hopefully every shore course off-road racer that wants to come or can come will all be here. We need to celebrate the fact that this place is the birthplace of the sport. It's kind of the one thing that's remained. I think there's a line in the Field of Dreams where the only thing that's always remained is in baseball, and in short course racing, the only thing that's always remained has been Crandon. And I think that's a fair statement. And I think that, adding some celebratory things, adding some special races, maybe we're talking about perhaps opening up a short course Hall of Fame here. Maybe doing we're definitely talking about adding some legitimate high-end musical acts for Friday and Saturday night here for the 50th. So that's a conversation right now. So yeah, we're going to be ramping up for it for the next 2 years. And I think that if you've never gone, you need to at least plan on being here for that, because it's going to be something really special.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, not only the 50th, but this year. I mean, my first time back there, I think, I'm definitely looking forward. I know just the UTV scene, so many guys from the West Coast coming out that way, Pro 2,
and there's
Pro
that.
4.
That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, we put up a there's a $10,000 purse for the pro stock UTVs for Sunday, thanks to some help from Walker Evans Racing. Vision helped us with a modified UTV class. There's $10,000 on the line for that. So there's some good money. Yeah, the UTVs are a whole other part of this equation. I don't know if we're going to be able to run them all Sunday. I don't know if we have to do qualifiers. We'll have to see how many people show up, but it's going to be quite a bit.
Yeah, it's just an exciting time to be an off-road fan. I mean, I think, and you and I, we could talk for, hours on this, but, it seems like things in the desert, numbers are up, publicity's up, and now short course. I mean, we've got all this coming together. I think just the industry as a whole, for off-road right now is, the healthiest I think I've ever seen it. That's not even talking about King of the Hammers and everything else. I mean, I think we're in a really good spot, Marty.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think that there was definitely, I think what we're trying to get back to, Jimmy, is a place where, corporate groups can look at this thing and jump back in. I think, we've kind of been a little stagnant with that. Thankfully, the energy drink companies are here and they're here to stay, so that's a good thing. But I think that I think you're right. I think the desert's in a great place. But I think one of the reasons it is because you've got such great events with, the Mint 400 and the Baja 1000. You've got events that people can grasp their arms around. And I think, it's hard for sometimes to sell an idea of a series, but, there's always got to be a Super Bowl in any of that. And so we feel pretty happy that we can bring a Super Bowl style event to short course racing just in general and raise the awareness and level just like I said, just by one weekend or one day. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So when do things kick off back there in at Crandon this week? I know obviously we got the big parade on Friday, but there's racing on Friday as well. When does on-track action start?
Yeah, we actually for the nice part of the World Cup, even from last year's, we were able to open up the track Thursday. So there's 3 or 4 pro sessions, test sessions on Friday. So all the guys that come from the West Coast, the guys like Ryan Beach who've never been here, have plenty of track time on Thursday, which hasn't happened. But we have fans showing up tomorrow at noon on Wednesday, and they'll be pouring in. And then, we have a big downtown parade. If you've ever watched some social media things or seen that, that's a really great event. We've got a lot of the Off-Road Hall of Fame people going to be here to celebrate the fact that Cliff is going to be inducted this year in October. And then, racing starts Friday afternoon all the way through Friday night with the Torque Sportsman classes, which is great, and then the modified karts run. Saturday is all the Crandon Sportsman World Championships. We crown world champions in each division. World Championship rings that everybody wants, and then we run a series round of torque racing on Saturday, and then Sunday all the world champions are crowned here at Crandon with all the pro classes, and Sunday it'll be Modified carts, we consider a Pro Class, Pro Buggy, which is a modified Pro Class here too. And then the 2 UTV classes, Pro Light, Pro 2, Pro 4, and then the Amsoil Cup. So a lot of racing going on. We have 29 races over the weekend.
Wow.
So
lots.
It's going to be busy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a busy weekend. We're running out of time, Marty, but I will see you on Friday. Looking forward to being back there. Thank you for everything, and, man, it's going to be a good weekend.
Jimmy, bring your microphone and bring your drinking shoes. You need both.
All right, I will. One mic in one hand, drink in the other. I can handle that, buddy.
That's pretty much how it rolls around here. So we're looking forward to having you and your audience and catching. Can't wait to see what the reaction is when you get here and your post reaction from next week. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thanks a lot, Marty. Take it easy, my friend.
All right, take care.
Take care. All right, that was Marty Fiolka with Crandon. We're going to be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
You're listening to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. All killer and no filler. Wrapping things up here on action-packed Crandon episode of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Big shout-out to Keegan, Kincaid, Ryan Beat, Marty Fiolka, and, of course, my good friend Joe Duncan with Terracross, Amy Hood. It was definitely a fun episode today. Packed. Man, lots of guests, lots of talk, and lots of fun. Speaking of fun, I will be in Crandon this weekend. Don't forget, I'll be dropping some radio. It won't be live. We're going to be doing a lot of interviews. It'll be like podcast format, so I'll drop that at some point over the weekend. Also probably have some stuff packed into Project Action next week as well. So be looking for that. Once again, rate, review, subscribe to Project Action and the Down and Dirty Radio Show on iTunes. And Don't forget about my good friends at Heritage Road that have that History of NASCAR podcast. Make sure and go over and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts at Heritage Road, brought to you by Busch Beer. So, Heritage Road, good stuff. Definitely get that cycled into your podcast listening. You can give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter. Amy is at AmyHood71. Same goes for both of us on Facebook as well. And don't forget, looking for a coupon code at Dirtfish. It's JB Dirtfish for 15% off any purchase at Dirtfish Rally School for classes. Thanks to Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, KCI Lights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, Impact, OTSFF, Optimus, Terracross, the Blue Water Resort and Casino, and my friends at Crandon for this episode. I'm off to Crandon, man. I'm off to have some fun. Hopefully you guys join me and my shenanigans along the way on social media, as well as the radio show, and then heydays after that. So it's a couple of slam-packed weeks. Don't forget to check out YouTube, and make sure and check out Car Throttle. They got that big recap, 13 minutes long. It's on my social media, Pastrana's, Jolene's, and Polaris's on our Star Car event at Vegas to Reno. And we'll see you this weekend from Crandon. I'll be on the mic back there as well as doing interviews for radio. So definitely stay tuned on Sunday for that. We'll be back next week. Be safe. As always, game on.